At minus 60 degrees Celsius, your breath doesn't just mist, it crystallizes mid-air and falls to the ground with a sound the Russians call the whisper of the stars. Most creatures on Earth would be dead within minutes, and yet here, in the largest and most forbidding wilderness on the planet, something extraordinary is happening. Life is not just surviving, it is thriving, fighting, hunting, loving, and doing all of it in the dark.
Welcome to Siberia. Stretching across more than 13 million square kilometers, nearly twice the size of the United States, Siberia is not a country, not a province, but a feeling, an idea, a place so vast and so ancient that the human mind struggles to truly comprehend it. The Trans-Siberian Railway, the longest in the world, takes 7 days to cross it by train. And from the window, you would see something that would unsettle most modern people. Nothing. Just trees, horizon to horizon for days. The taiga, the great boreal forest, is the single largest land biome on Earth, and most of it has never been walked by a human being. But silence in Siberia is an illusion. Beneath the snow, under the frozen rivers, deep inside the hollows of ancient Siberian pine trees, a world of staggering complexity is at work. And if you know where to look, if you slow down and listen, Siberia will reveal itself as one of the most dramatic wildlife theaters on the planet. Let's start with the predator that rules it all. The Amur tiger is the largest cat on Earth. Not just the largest tiger, the largest wild cat, full stop. A fully grown male can weigh over 300 kilograms and stretch nearly 4 meters from nose to tail. To put that in perspective, if you laid 3 adult humans end to end, you would roughly match the length of one of these animals. And unlike their cousins in Bengal, who hunt in steaming tropical heat, the Amur tiger does something almost philosophically absurd. It hunts blizzards. In the Russian Far East, along the Sikhote-Alin mountain range, where Siberia bleeds into the Pacific coast, scientists have tracked individual tigers traveling over 1,000 kilometers through winter snows in search of prey. A single tiger requires a territory of up to 2,000 square kilometers to survive. Think about that. One animal, 2,000 square kilometers of frozen wilderness, its own kingdom. And its kingdom is a dangerous one, because the Amur tiger doesn't just hunt deer and wild boar. Researchers discovered something remarkable in the stomach contents and territory data from the 1990s onward. Amur tigers actively hunt and kill Amur leopards and Eurasian lynx. They occasionally steal kills from wolves. There are even documented cases of tigers killing and eating brown bears. Not out of desperation, out of dominance. There are fewer than 600 of these animals left in the wild. The story of the Amur tiger is the story of Siberia itself. Magnificent, barely surviving, and fighting with every fiber of its being against a world that keeps shrinking around it. But let's journey further west now, deeper into the taiga, into a landscape that looks, on the surface, like it has no right to support life at all. It is December. The sun rises for 4 hours, skims the horizon like a skipped stone, disappears again. Temperatures hover at minus 45. The snow is not soft here. It is compact, crystalline, squeaking under pressure like styrofoam. And yet,
Moving through this frozen cathedral of trees comes an animal that has been roaming these forests for over 250,000 years.
The Siberian brown bear. You might think the bear is asleep right now, and in one sense, you'd be right. But hibernation, as we tend to imagine it, a deep, death-like slumber, is something of a myth when it comes to brown bears. Their body temperature drops only slightly. Their heart rate slows, yes, but a hibernating brown bear can wake up within seconds if disturbed. Mother bears, incredibly, give birth during hibernation and nurse their cubs while still in a semi-conscious torpor, their bodies converting fat reserves into rich, calorie-dense milk even as they sleep. By the time spring arrives, a mother bear will emerge from her den having lost a third of her body weight and be greeted by 2 or 3 cubs who are bouncing, curious, and utterly oblivious to the miracle of their own birth. The Siberian tiger supports the densest population of brown bears on Earth, outside of Alaska. And these are not the bears of Yellowstone or Scandinavia. Siberian brown bears are larger, more isolated, and in many parts of their range, they have had almost no contact with humans. There are pockets of the Siberian forest where bears have never seen a person. They are not afraid of us. They are simply unaware of us. And that fact, that wildness, that total unknowing, is one of the most powerful things left on this planet. Now, here's a question. What animal do you think kills the most reindeer in Siberia?
Your first instinct might be the wolf. Packs of Siberian wolves, the largest subspecies in the world, do indeed take enormous numbers of reindeer each winter. A single Siberian wolf pack can travel over 60 kilometres in a day in pursuit of prey, coordinating their movements with a sophistication that researchers are still struggling to fully understand. Their howls, which can carry over 10 kilometres through still winter air, are not just communication. They are strategic tools used to locate other packs, warn rivals, and coordinate members across vast distances. But the wolves, for all their cunning, are not the biggest killers of reindeer. That title belongs to something far stranger, something ancient, something most people have never even heard of. The Wolverine. The Wolverine weighs at most 18 kilograms. It looks vaguely like a small bear that someone sat on. It has a face that can only be described as furious. And yet, pound for pound, it may be the most ferocious predator in the Northern Hemisphere. There are verified accounts of wolverines driving brown bears, animals 10 times their size, off fresh kills. The wolverine will follow a wolf pack for days, waiting for them to make a kill, and then simply walk into the middle of the pack and steal the carcass. There are documented cases of wolverines killing caribou, animals 20 times their size, by latching onto their throat and holding on, literally through anything the prey can throw at them. The wolverine's jaws are so powerful and its psychology so relentlessly aggressive that native Siberian peoples called it the glutton, the demon of the forest, the animal that cannot be killed by cold. And that last description is not metaphor. The wolverine's fur is the only natural material that does not accumulate frost from breath, which is why indigenous Arctic peoples used it exclusively to line the hoods of their parkas. Even today, wolverine fur remains the material of choice for Arctic expedition hoods because nothing else works as well. Evolution in Siberia does not make gentle choices, and nowhere is that more apparent than in the sky above the taiga. The Steller's sea eagle is the heaviest eagle on Earth. With a wingspan of up to 2.5 meters and talons the size of a human hand, it hunts along the frozen rivers and coastlines of the Russian Far East with a terrible, unhurried authority. What makes this bird remarkable, beyond its sheer physical power, is its intelligence. Steller's sea eagles have been observed using tools, in the loosest sense of the word, repeatedly dropping frozen fish onto rocks to crack them open, a behavior that researchers believe is learned and passed between individuals. There are fewer than 4,000 of these birds alive. Every single one of them breeds in Russia. But if the Steller's is the king of the sky, its counterpart underwater is nothing short of supernatural. The Baikal seal lives in only one place on Earth, Lake Baikal in southern Siberia. Lake Baikal is not just any lake. It is the world's oldest lake, at 25 million years of age. It is the world's deepest lake, at over 1,600 meters. It holds more fresh water than all of North America's Great Lakes combined. And it is the only lake on Earth with its own endemic species of seal. Nobody knows how the Baikal seal got there. The lake is thousands of kilometers from any ocean. The leading theory is that the seals arrived during the last ice age, following river systems that have long since changed or vanished. But this is still speculation. The Baikal seal remains, at its core, a mystery. A creature that should not exist in a place it should not be, thriving in conditions that should not permit it. Baikal seals can dive to over 300 meters and stay submerged for over 70 minutes. In winter, when the lake freezes over entirely, they maintain breathing holes in the ice using the claws of their front flippers, methodically, deliberately, precisely. Scientists studying the seals found that the breathing holes are always positioned in relation to currents and prey movements in ways that suggest extraordinary spatial memory. These animals are navigating a dark, three-dimensional underwater world beneath a ceiling of ice, and doing it with the confidence of a creature that has called this lake home for over 500,000 years. Winter, you might now understand, is not Siberia's enemy. It is its engine.
The snow leopard, ghosting along the high ridges of the Altai Mountains in southwestern Siberia, uses snowfall to mask its approach. Its massive, fur-covered paws act as snowshoes. Its thick, 3-foot tail doubles as both a rudder on steep slopes and a blanket against its own face when sleeping in temperatures that would kill most animals outright. The snow leopard is so perfectly adapted to this world of rock and ice and wind that it has barely changed in millions of years. It found a solution, and it stuck with it. There are perhaps 150 snow leopards in Siberian Russia. They are so rarely seen that local herders in the Altai region refer to them as the mountain ghost. Camera traps set up by researchers sometimes capture a single image, a paw print, a tail disappearing around a boulder, a pair of eyes catching the flash over years of monitoring. The snow leopard does not want to be known. And in that desire for invisibility, there is something profoundly, achingly beautiful.
Here is something that will rewire how you think about this place. Beneath Siberia, beneath the forests and the rivers and the frozen tundra, lies permafrost, a layer of permanently frozen ground that in some places goes down over 1.5 kilometers. And within this frozen ground are things that have been locked away for tens of thousands of years. Woolly mammoths, cave lions, woolly rhinoceroses, so perfectly preserved that their DNA is often still intact. Scientists have recovered woolly mammoth blood, still liquid, not yet frozen, from specimens tens of thousands of years old. But here is the twist that changes everything. As global temperatures rise, that permafrost is beginning to thaw. And as it thaws, it is not just releasing ancient animals, it is releasing ancient bacteria, ancient viruses, ancient organisms that have not interacted with the modern world in geological timeframes. In 2015, French researchers revived a virus that had been frozen in Siberian permafrost for 30,000 years. It was infectious. It worked. Pandora virus Yedoma, they called it.
The living wildlife of Siberia. The wolves, the tigers, the bears are extraordinary. But they are sharing their home with something even older. Something that existed before humans, before agriculture, before civilization. A frozen prehistory that is slowly, inexorably beginning to wake up. That is the final revelation of Siberia. This is not just a place where life survives the present. It is a place where the past is still alive, pressed into the earth, waiting. The Siberian wolf does not know this. It runs through the snow, breath steaming, chasing a scent across a white horizon that goes on forever. The Amur tiger does not know this. It lies in the darkness of the taiga, amber eyes reflecting the cold light of a moon that has watched this land for 25 million years. The Baikal seal does not know this. It shoots through the black water of the world's oldest lake, agile and free and perfectly, magnificently at home.
They do not know what is beneath their feet. They do not know what is happening to their world. They do not know that we are watching, marveling, and failing, slowly, collectively failing, to protect them. But we know, and that is both the weight of this moment and the possibility within it. Siberia is not a relic. It is not a museum. It is a living, breathing, roaring, howling testament to what this planet is capable of when we leave it alone. And somewhere out there, right now, at minus 60 degrees, under a sky so full of stars it looks like a wound in the night, a Wolverine is walking into the wind, going somewhere, afraid of nothing. And honestly, safe. If you enjoyed this series, don't forget to subscribe for more.